And now, a new trade twist. The United States is granting zero-tariff access to several ASEAN neighbors, but not to the Philippines. Malacañang says that the exclusion is meant to protect local industries, but critics warn it risks hurting export growth, widening the trade gap, and slowing GDP. So what does this mean for markets, investors, and the economy into 2026? Joining us now is Ed Francisco, the president of BDO Capital and Investment Corporation, one of the country's most seasoned capital market leaders with decades of experience spanning equities, fixed income, project finance, and advisory. Good morning, Ed. Thanks for being here with us.
Good morning, Nate. Good morning, Mikey.
Okay, Ed, what is happening with our stock market? We are now at the 5,800 level. Nothing major has come up, but the selling is heavy this morning. What do you think is going on here?
Seems like what movie was that? Back to the Future, because I don't understand. Usually, people will sell before a long weekend, right? Because of the weekend, they don't want to be long, so they want to hedge. But they're selling after, and nothing happened. So I'm as dumbstruck as you, Mikey.
Yeah, right. Interestingly, we started the year with, I wouldn't call them lofty, but expectations were for the PSE index to finish the year at 6,800. We are at 5,800 right now. Looks like we'd be lucky to end the year at 6,000. We're closing the year under pressure. Peso's hovering at 59 to the dollar. Lots of selling after the flood control scandal. Adding to that, the new twist. External headwinds, the U.S. granting zero-tariff access to Thailand, Malaysia, and Cambodia, but excluding the Philippines. Ed, from a macro view, how does all of this change your economic outlook for 2026 in terms of growth, investor confidence, and capital flows?
Yeah. No. I guess let's take it one by one. The import tariffs being reduced for our neighbors is, I guess a little disturbing. Why were we picked? Why were we not given also the same relief? No. That's one. That's just from a sentiment perspective, but from a macro perspective, since exports are really small anyway for the Philippines, it won't have that much an impact, at least from the macro. Of course, I feel sad for the exporters because they'll be hit. In terms of capital flows, it's more really sentiment driven, as you said. Uh, there's really no change. The corporates are generally doing well. GDP is a little slower, right, than growth. I guess we might be at 5.4, 5.5% full year, as opposed to the original 6%. But it's still very good compared to the rest of the world. So what's really hitting us is really more negative sentiment because of all the corruption scandal, Mikey.
Yeah, going back to that zero tariff access, that twist, the big win for our ASEAN neighbors, but not for us. What are the implications for us and our supply chains, and how could this pressure our industries, and what do we need to do now in response to this?
Yeah. No, I guess it's all really more of a wake up call for us. Admittedly, our experts are weak, but what we also have to do is we really have to look at alternative supply chains. We have to, I guess that's BOI, Department of Trade, etc., working with our neighbors because we have to improve the inter-trade flow in ASEAN, for example. Why go to the US when hopefully we have value to sell other products in the rest of Asia? That's one. So there should be less dependencies. And because of that, at least that would make us more resilient.
Yeah, so it's about retooling so we can respond to this strategically, both in trade policy and what now will our investment pitch to the world be, Ed?
Yeah. No, our investment pitch hopefully will still be, I guess, the at least stable. The economy is stable, very high consumption driven, low still the good English and the low average age. So those are still the strengths, right? Of course, there'll be some weaknesses, but those are challenges being addressed. So hopefully, the longer term things that have to be done, like improving the education system, improving infrastructure, that's in place. No, and then power is being improved. We have more renewable energy. So it will also attract investors, hopefully.
Yeah. Talking about interest rates, the U.S. Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the second time this year. The BSP has eased by 175 basis points since August of 2024. But risk appetite is pretty soft. Why is it that monetary relief hasn't lifted market sentiment?
Yeah, no, no, it's sad. No, on one hand, no, maybe I'll also just give some contrary data. Yes, you'd feel that the sentiment is weak, especially from the foreign side, the PSE side. But then on the other hand, when you look at the loan growth is fast, still fast. It's still double digit. So it's showing that the economy is still moving. And the loan growth is the better barometer of really the SMEs, the middle market, and the large corporate. So at least, Mikey, there is really strong loan growth. We're seeing it. Uh, Admittedly, because of what's happening now, some are recalibrating, some are making major decisions if should they proceed with their capex plans or should they slow down because if there will be expected slowdown. But then on the other hand, at least since fourth quarter last year, we were seeing good loan growth and it's continued. It's supported by the numbers in the banks.
Yeah, loan growth, that's a great barometer right there. Another barometer, the capital market pipeline. Ed, from your desk, how are things looking as we head into 2026? What's on the docket and what
Yeah.
isn't?
No, generally, what happens is our pipeline gets longer because the deals that we had wanted to do this year are pushed back to next year. So these corporates are not stopping anyway. Admittedly, it's less attractive for IPOs. It's very hard to do an IPO, although we're very fortunate that Maynilad will list, and that's already I guess, a good feather for the cap for the Philippines. But we'll have a lot of deals next year. In fact, later on this month, we will list capital market deal, but it's fixed income for SM Prime. We priced it. It's very low, and it's 17 billion oversubscribed. So it shows that there is appetite,
Yeah.
especially for fixed income. We also did the listing for San Miguel's preferreds last week in the PSC, oversubscribed. There are many other deals happening. So next year, maybe the flavor is fixed income, a lot of preferred shares that will be very successful. We have some IPOs lined up. We're working with the President Mon Monzon and Chairman Francis Slim on doing maybe IPOs for preferred share issues because there's a special ruling that the PSE did that no one's availing of. So I will work with the regulators to push for that, and maybe we can list some companies next year.
Yeah, we'd be looking forward to seeing more bright spots. Speaking of bright spot, a little left field, but still within the DNA of this show because it pertains to, the economy. The Michelin Guide has officially arrived in the Philippines. This is a huge cultural and economic milestone for the country, and it puts the Philippines, Manila and Cebu specifically, on the global culinary map. And from a business and tourism perspective, from your lens as the president of BDO Capital, what do you see? What are the good things you see coming off from this?
Okay. So no, so that was a pleasant distraction for all this floodgate and negative news, right? When the news came out, our phones were buzzing. Who are these 8 companies? Who is this 2-star? One company was the 8-star. What does a Michelin select mean? What does Bib Gourmand mean? We were all researching where are these restaurants because we all want to try them. In fairness, Secretary Franco of had told me, I think it was earlier this year, that the Michelin was coming. And so I was just, of course, hopeful but not expecting it. It did come through, push through. What does that do? That's good because that means that there'll be a lot more tourists coming here to try our food. And even among local tourism, that should improve. And people will now travel to taste all these restaurants from all over the country, even Tagaytay, Cebu, etc. So I'm very happy because, in fact, I was just watching the New York Marathon live stream last night. New York Marathon brought in $1 billion for that activity. Maybe because of this Michelin restaurants now and the rest, there are more tourists who come in just to try our food, which is very, very good.
Another thing that may get people to come, Ed, the weakness in the peso, right?
Yes.
That drove
Yes.
people to Japan. How might that help us trying to look at it with a silver lining?
Correct. Correct. Let's look at it. Yeah. Of course, it's bad. It's sad for the importers. It's more expensive, right? But It makes it cheaper to export, right? But yeah, from the tourism perspective, it should be good because it becomes much cheaper for all the tourists to arrive. So people will now visit the rest of the country, and that's good because yes, our tourism numbers have been low, especially from inbound tourists, right? But at least when I talk to the Cebu Mactan Airport and NAIA, because we funded both of them, the numbers are pretty good, right? And you remember what San Miguel remitted? It's a record number because the local tourism is compensating for the inbound foreign tourists. So that's good. There'll be more flights, and that's very good for the country. And because of the foodies, lots of foodies, these Gen Z, Gen Alphas, love the experiences. We think that will be a boost for all the provinces.
Okay, Ed, we've got, some figures coming out this week. We've got GDP, we've got inflation all out this week. The PSE index, we're at 58.24 right now. All this downside in the PSE index and in the macro picture, is this possibly a sign that Malacañang may not be doing enough to bring up confidence? What do investors want to hear?
Yeah. No, I guess if from my perspective as a Filipino, I mean, what we would like to see is, yeah, it's been months since the president's SONA, so we'd love to see some convictions, really. It's great that the ICI made these recommendations, but the ICI has no power, really, right? So it's really now down to the ombudsman and the Sandigan to catch some big fish. I guess it's not enough for just the engineers DPWH to go to jail. So we want to see what will happen now with I guess Mr. Ko and the rest who've been given notice. I just hope something happens there because it will also bring in confidence because governance is so important. Governance is what makes foreign investors come in, even the local investors come in. With
Yeah.
strong governance in the country and in the corporates especially, that's what keeps some of the companies, doing very well. It's not just the numbers; it's but belief in the management and how they run things.
Yeah, taking a look at the numbers, my gosh, the market, everything is down by well over 1%. So early in the trade, this is so unusual, this massive sea of red that we're seeing. So hopefully we get a Christmas gift by way of justice from Malacañang. We shall see.
We hope so.
Yeah,
We
Ed,
hope so.
thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Bye bye, Mikey.